Wike and Rivers. I think when the story of democracy will be written in this country many years to come, we'll ask questions about what the court did. Today, my challenge is to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Many PDP governors filed a case against the state of emergency and the sole administrator. Why have the Supreme Court not heard that case? Or do they want to delay it till the end of the expiration of the 6-month state of emergency? Because it looks like that. Since that case has been filed, the Supreme Court have not heard that case. Because if the Supreme Court does not hear a case like that, we will not be able to determine if the aberration of the state of emergency was right. And you know what the ground it will breed? It will breed the ground for other presidents to also use that state of emergency clause to settle political scores. And that's how Nigeria starts to disintegrate in terms of morals and everything. And I might be wrong, but I'm going to give a challenge this morning that I do not think the Supreme Court will hear that case. You might prove me wrong. If they hear that case, it will be a miracle. I will come on the air and celebrate the Supreme Court. But my gut instinct tells me otherwise. Because that's what is the bane of the development of Rivers State as it is today. The fact that the court has not determined the illegality of that aberration. So everybody hides under that. And it's not the first time. The last time that the president did a state of emergency in Nigeria and the case was taken to court, the court also waited to a point where it was overtaken by events. Yeah. So when we will write about democracy, the role the court played will also matter.
Absolutely.
So please, I would like to challenge the Supreme Court today. Save democracy. Hear that case that has been brought forward by people and some governors as regards the state of emergency in Rivers State. Hear that case to save democracy from anything remaining in this country. Supreme Court, hear that case, please. Going back to the aberration going on, the Rivers State electoral laws are clear that you must give a 90 days threshold as we speak. No 90 days threshold was given. They have just gone ahead with this determination of the date of an election under a sole administrator. In fact, I'm going to read some of the demands that were put forward by some elders in Rivers State, where they said there's currently no legally constituted state electoral RASEC as mandated by section 235 and 12 of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Law. They talked about the 90-day notice. They also talk about that courts across the land are actively adjudicating the legality of sole administrator. That's the Supreme Court case, which is pending. In fact, pending is the Supreme Court case and Federal High Court actions. Multiple such judicial challenges by the political party electoral machinery grinds under a so-called emergency guise. The fourth, they are saying Rivers State have been plunged into a constitutional crisis. The fifth, Section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution vests the exclusive responsibility of local council elections in the state governments. 7, blatant usurpation of state autonomy desecrates our federal architecture and imperils democratic governance in the country. So these are the grounds. But all of this is tied to that Supreme Court case. So I am not surprised that Nyesom Wike will say they should ignore. Because let's ask Nyesom Wike a question. Did he ignore the first local government elections held by Fubara that was not in his favor? No. He went to courts with his cohorts. Or people surrounding him and people associated with him went to courts. And they upturned those elections. But today, when he favors him, and the reason why he's doing this is because he knows that the local government holds a haze in the grand political scheme of the states. You need a coalition of forces. And he knows that once these local government people are elected, which will probably be a lot of people that are pander to him, then he'll be able to hold Fubara at the jugulars. Because he will have the State House of Assembly, he will have the local government architecture. So Fubara is just going to be a lame duck when he comes in. And that's why Wike had the temerity on television to be telling us when the state of emergency will probably end soon. And these guys that they keep giving in the government, that the state of emergency was to save Fubara. No, don't pee on our back and tell us it's raining. The state of emergency was to tilt the equation in favor of Wike. Because what it is he has gotten all he wanted. So this will be the last crown jewel. He already has the state of assembly. When they come back, when the state of emergency is lifted, then he will get the local government on top of it. So a man that has the local government state of, what's it called? Fubara will not be able to fight back at his own political architecture. And that's what is playing out. But for the fact that this is aided by the president of this country shows the aberration. And the fact that the Supreme Court of this country, since that case has been taken to court, have not made a determination. Let's even know. And now it looks as though we are grinding to wait till the expiration of that term and we say, oh, it's been overtaken by events. You don't run a democracy that way. Because today, it favors people like Wike. Tomorrow, hope when the tide will turn against people like Wike, he will not cry then. It's in his favor. Enjoy it. It's your victory now, Wike. But hope when the tide will turn, you will not cry.